American commanders have been a bit slacking off with the mine detectors. Only John getting some mine detectors now. And oh dear, could this be charging into further mines? Oh no. But no, there's not. That would be these engineers who vanished in a cloud of blood and dust to the minefield. Instead, John does not seem to be out with his minesweepers, and this M8 managed to avoid all of them. Panzer IV now on the field, and we see some SS Panzergrenadiers, aka Stormtroopers, working in the background. SS troops having actually been trained in the old Stormtrooper tactics from World War I, which included stuff like bundle grenades and infiltration tactics. M8 dangerously close and getting hit from numerous Panzerschrecks. Really needs to get out of there before the second volley arrives, knocking it out potentially, particularly this close, and one shot goes off but hits the slopes of the hill. American seems to have stabilized this line so far, having done something to the German troops. Veterans 3 up for Cheezeburglar's infantry, giving them increased survivability through damage mitigation bonuses and health bonuses. And I do believe one of the Stormtroopers complained about his helmet, apparently. Sticky bomb going off on the Panzer IV, damaging the engine. Riflemen taking fire from the Panzer IV, and one being taken out by a Panzerschreck, and another shot from the Panzer IV knocks out another rifleman. Really should consider pulling back, as now a Ostwind as well is on the field. But what is this? Howitzer fire from who? Could it be? Not Keithmallory, he is airborne 82nd, but it is John having called in the howitzer strike, knocking out the Panzer IV. Quite horrific. A loss for the German Panzer forces and the Panzer Lehr, who at this stage would probably not have had a lot of armor, if any, after the Falaise Gap and Operation Lüttich. Only an Ostwind left, and might even knock out a plane. No, it did not. Apparently further Stormtroopers out on the field, reinforcing his troops with SS, and we see a medic bunk up for Cheezeburglar as well to minimize attrition. And of course the medic station continuing to pull in wounded troops for John. Certainly advantageous. Bundle grenade going off a plume of dirt but not hitting anything, although a Panzerschreck knocked out these BRs, going off on the Stormtroopers, who are certainly taking a lot of damage but now forced to retreat due to the overwhelming presence of these elite troops. Further riflemen moving from the north, heavily wounded and damaged though. And we see howitzer shot is once more ready. M10 sneaking into the south, having already taken some damage. A bold move but dangerous. Could easily end up badly, in particular with this pack around. And another shot might knock it out now. Or indeed the Panzerschrecks. And there we go. Managed to knock out the bike. Or was it a mine it hit? Because these Stormtroopers were suppressed. But the M10 is now knocked out. Stu 42 arriving with its howitzers fire to do some damage to the American infantry. Tank depot up for those who hadn't noticed, due to the M10 of course, which revealed that. Nothing like that for the Mallory troops. And we see Stu 42 forcing these riflemen to pull out just in the neck of time. 2 men left and with very little health. And we see Helliar's Ostwind is patrolling. We see Mallory having dropped airborne troop behind his lines, but will not be able to deal with this Ostwind and forced to retreat just as they got a recoilless rifle. Further going down and being thrown up into the air and around, it seems. Germans slowly amassing for a counterattack, or at least Helliar trying to bolster the lines with Ostwind flak panzers. Do not believe the Panzer Lehr had equipped those. I do believe they were given the flak panzer 38T, and I'm not entirely sure when the Ostwind was actually handed out. So I can't say. Only about 40 of them were produced. Certainly enough to equip a few divisions and self-propelled anti-tank companies, if I'm not mistaken. but a bit of skirmishing going on. These stormtroopers in a bad spot, being overwhelmed by infantry fire, and we see a bomb grenade going off, killing 3 riflemen. Absolutely bloody. And we see these riflemen charging right into the Volksgrenadiers. Not good, not good. You do not want to charge into troops armed with automatic weapons unless it's the LMG-42, since the LMG-42 is more or less rubbish at the moment. And that won't change with the next patch, I am afraid. Volksgrenadiers still doing a lot of damage to the riflemen, but now slowly being ground down. And we see the medic station readying a fresh rifleman team to join into the fight. Howitzer rounds going off from the Stu-42, pushing forwards. Veterancy 1 up as well. Someone being killed in by the shell, but I'm not entirely sure who. Might have been a rifleman, and we see further shells going off. And these Volksgrenadiers in a bad spot now, forced to retreat. And we see a howitzer up from John, ready to bombard enemy lines, and a 57mm anti-tank gun slowly encroaching. The Germans having secured most of the victory points for now. Stu-42 trying to knock out the medic station, but apparently overestimated the power of its shells. The station is still operational, albeit and not in a good manner. Going straight for the howitzer, immobilized by a mine or perhaps a sticky bomb. And there we go, a rear shot from the M1 anti-tank gun, knocking it out and giving it veterancy 1. Helliar still holding the north with Ostwind mines, and MG-42 quite determined to do so, in fact. And we see another Ostwind still holding out there. Riflemen meeting this MG-42 team out in the open, and not going to be good for the MG-42. They're going to suffer heavily if they do not pull back. But the Ostwind puts a stop to that. But now riflemen are closing in, probably to try and throw a sticky bomb at it. And after a few of the throwers were killed, there we go, sticky bomb off, damaging the engine. And we see a Goliath. That's certainly a rarity in these games, but the small self-propelled bomb Goliath, used to clear out obstacles and fortifications. In the actual war here, used to blow up stuff in a violent manner. If used well, can really cause a lot of havoc. Of course, if it's seen, it can easily be knocked out. And there we go, a huge plume of smoke, and we see howitzer fire going down into German lines, but not hitting anything, it seems. Continually just missing the Stu-42. The Stu-42 itself actually doing some damage while hitting, and an MG-42 team cut down in cold blood by the riflemen. The Americans are once more secured the victory points in the center, and we see a stormtrooper team with double Panzer Shreks. Certainly going to make them good at dealing with armor, but less at infantry. At the moment, does not look like it will matter. Airborne apparently ignoring the stormtroopers as they move north. Could it be they might go for the medic station? And what is this? Sniper fire going off. Looks like Helliar's sniper is actually moving into action this time around. Finally. Bit of skirmishing here. And looks like the American forces for now have given up on the north medic station, still holding out. Just barely. Bundle grenade going off in the midst of the riflemen, killing numerous and leaving the rest badly wounded. There we go, the medic station is gone. And what is this? An M4 Sherman out for the American 28th Infantry Division to counter the armored assets of the Panzer Lehr. And bunker still standing, albeit barely. Fire and broken concrete. Riflemen with veterancy 1 holding off these Volksgrenadiers, although it looks like the Volksgrenadiers will have the advantage, or would have if it weren't because they were suppressed. Then again, riflemen in a bad spot and really need to get away. Oh no, they were cut down. Second rifleman team moving in, opening fire, but full stormtroopers from the north forced them to divide their attention and firepower, but the Sherman might fix a bit of that. Opening fire on the stormtroopers, not really hitting. exposing the rear armor. Really bad move. You do not want to do that. But stormtroopers are forced to retreat, and the Americans retain the center and south for a bit longer. Airborne troops trying to make a dash for the north, but are stopped by this Ostwind. And what is this? Flag 88 going up for Helliar. Flag 88 going to provide heavy anti-air cover, and of course also being able to deal with infantry and tank alike in a nice manner. I do believe there will be some nerfs towards infantry in the next patch. Not sure why, and can't exactly remember the magnitude of it. Looks like the airborne are once more trying something in the north. Anti-tank gun firing away at these grenadiers from Cheezeburglar. Apparently probably out from the medic bunker. Riflemen moving in. No BAR still for Mallory's riflemen. Apparently hanging on. And we see the Sherman charging ahead, keen on knocking out this Ostwind, but taking a lot of Panzer Lehr fire. Really needs to slowly pull back, facing the front. Stu 42 firing away in support. No howitzer fire. Oh wait, there we go. In fact, howitzer support going in on the spot, knocking out the Ostwind. Not doing anything to the infantry though. Sherman firing away, not doing much to these elite infantry. And Panzer Lehr bounced off the frontal armor of the Sherman. Quite fortunate for the Sherman driver. Now charging ahead, exposing the rear. Oh dearie me, no, might end up badly. Riflemen opening fire, suppressing the stormtroopers and riflemen, and Mallory have himself now gotten BARs for his troops, increasing their firepower by a great magnitude. And we see Helliar sniper still firing away, causing some losses to the riflemen, killing 2 in short order. Might be forced to pull back those shortly. Let's have a look back at Helliar and see what he's up to. Defensive doctrine and for the fatherland, and registered artillery, providing a close barrage of mortar rounds. Plenty of resources, setting up a Kampfkraft center, and focusing most of his pioneers here with another dense belt of mines. And of course the Ostwind providing heavy anti-air cover, and with the MG42 also quite capable of dealing with infantry. It's going to take a lot of effort to break through here. Cheezeburglar still holding out barely. Helliar's focusing most of his efforts in the north to hold there, but so leaving Cheezeburglar to deal with most of it in the center. Not necessarily going to be much help to Cheezeburglar, who's certainly going to be facing the brunt of the American efforts. And we see a charge in the south, M10 supported by numerous rifleman teams. And we also see a jeep, apparently there to deal with the sniper. And what is this? I hear something going off. Artillery raining in on the German positions. Not hitting anything though. Might hit some of these troops on the retreat, or might not. Not would seem to be it. MG42 quickly overwhelmed in its lonesome position. Half-track milling about in complete confusion, unsure as what to do. And the western, southwest and center is now completely in American hands. Only the northern hill is in command of Helliar, who has densely fortified in preparation for a major counterattack. Or attack, I suppose, in the first place. But so far has yet to be confirmed in such a belief, as the Americans are still holding on to the south and center, and doing so quite skillfully, since again Helliar does not seem to be doing much to support Cheezeburglar's troops. Although further Goliaths, and now a Tiger out for Cheezeburglar. Tiger as well. This is certainly quite the effort from the German troops, probably 101st SS Schwer Panzerabteilung. Tiger charging ahead, missing the M10, but the M10 is forced to pull back in the face of such opposition, and plenty of anti-tank assets of course. The Grenadiers and Stormtroopers bunker is gone for the Germans. No, nothing to mitigate attrition, and no new medic station up for the Americans. Certainly could have been advantageous. Howitzer fire raining in. Looks like a Grenadier team was caught out in the open and blasted to pieces. Certainly